Hi guys, I'm Ashutosh and today I'm back with another tutorial on data version control and continuous machine learning. So first of all, we'll understand why the versioning of data as well as models is important in building machine learning pipelines, especially when experimentation is involved. So first of all, we'll look at the typical machine learning pipeline that we all the machine learning developers use to develop any kind of project. So essentially we have a cloud storage from where we first download the data, then we pre-process the data, we train the model, and we store that model back to cloud storage. And after we decide that okay, this model is performing well and we want to put that model into production, then we create a microservice, we download that model from the cloud storage to that microservice, and then any other application service can use that microservice as an API. So this is what a typical machine learning or data science project pipeline looks like. But the main concern here is with this phase, this experimentation phase. So we all know that the pre-processing and training the model involves a lot of experimentation. We sometimes change our pre-processing techniques, we change the hyperparameters to train the model, we refine the model, we add some layers to the model, we fine-tune the activations and other things. So for a lot of experimentation goes into these things, but most of the cases we do not take care of versioning. So let's say I am experimenting with my model, and I have a code which has parameters like this. So number of estimators for the model is 50 right now, and the model is trained. So now I have observed that this model is not performing well, so I want to change the experiment, and for the experiment 2 I have the same code, but now I have changed that parameters, number of estimators 100. So what I will do is I will copy this model and paste it into some other folder for backup, and I will train another model. So this is what we conventionally do. But if we can version this model so that we don't lose this model and we also get this model, and we don't have to worry about the naming the things and copy pasting the data and model files, so that will be very much time saving. So how can we do that? So here comes the data version control. So what data version control means, you can think of it as a Git for data and models. So what Git does is tracking the code changes for our code files. The same thing DVC does for data and model files, means large files that we want to store. So let me explain you with the simple example. So let's say we have a code, and by running that code locally or into some system, we generate a model file, that is model.pickle file. Now that model.pickle file can be arbitrarily large. Here in this case it is 500 MB large. So what DVC will do is, DVC works exactly the same way as Git, because internally DVC use Git LFS. As we know that to push something into Git repository, what we do, we first do git add, then git commit and git push. The same thing works as with DVC also. But for Git, the repository will be a Bitbucket or GitHub repository or GitLab repository. For DVC, repository will be any cloud storage, this type of cloud storage, S3, Azure, Google Cloud, or any other file system type of application where we can push the files. So to add these files into DVC, what we'll do first is DVC add, then DVC commit and DVC push. So what this will, when we do DVC add, Git will stop tracking these file changes, the actual file changes. Instead, why? Because when we do DVC add, DVC will automatically generate this kind of file, which is model.pickle.dvc file. So it will generate the .dvc file, which is a very small file, and it only contains the path or the print of the data where the data is actually stored. So it will contain the information that where this actual file will be stored after pushing it to cloud. So it will have the path or a print, MD5 print of this data. So when we do DVC push, this file will be pushed to our cloud storage, and our code contains now these two files, our the actual code and model.pickle.dvc file. Now we can do git push to push the code files plus .dvc files to GitHub repository. So if anybody else wants to use this code, they will just pull this GitHub repository code, then they will just do dvc pull, and based on this .dvc file, it has print of the data where actual data is stored. So if we do dvc pull, it will automatically download the actual data file. So this is about like kind of a data storing or something. So where the versioning comes into picture. So here the versioning comes into picture. So if you are talking about data version control, so how to version the models as well as data. So it is as simple as changing a git branch. So let's say you have a code and you want to make a major changes to that code. So what we conventionally do is we create a new branch, and in new branch we change those things. The same applies with dvc also. So when you change the branch, when you change the git branch, it helps you, it enables you to change the code. But when you do the dvc checkout on specific files, it helps you to version the data files also. So what I mean by that is, let's say you are on version 2, you have done one experiment, now you want to do another experiment. So just change the git branch using git checkout version 1, and also do dvc checkout on the files which you have. So just do dvc checkout data and dvc checkout model.h5. So it will convert those data and model files corresponding to version 1. So this will change the version of data as well as code. Within a minute we'll also look at the actual demo for this. This is how dvc help us in versioning the things and versioning our experiments. So taking the previous example, let's say I have a code file. It contains a hyperparameter which is number of estimated 50, and I have a model.pickle file, and this is I am doing in branch v1. Now if I want to do another experiment, what I will do is I will create a new branch which is branch v2. I will check out my code using git checkout v2, then I will do dvc checkout model.pickle, so it will version the things now, and then I can change my hyperparameters as number of estimated is 100, and if I run this code, this will have a different version file, the same name model.pickle, but now I can go back to my previous version using git checkout v1 first, and then dvc checkout model.pickle. It will have the older model.pickle file. So this is how we can version the things, and we can version the models as well as data. So to demonstrate what I have explained right now, and also few more functionalities of dvc, we have to do a hands-on demo on dvc. So I have created this code before so that I can explain you more better. If you want to do this hands-on, then I have given the GitHub repository link for this code and also some other important links for dvc and cml into the description box below. You can check out them and you can go through them. So first we'll understand what this code is. So first of all, just forget about everything in this code. Just think that we have data, we have our source file, and we have dvc.yaml file. So one thing before we go into code, so dvc is not just about versioning things, it also helps us in automating the pipeline, automating the machine learning pipeline. And how can we do that? That is using dvc.yaml file. So if we open dvc.yaml file, you can see that we have some stages and the name of stages and some information like that. So I'll explain you what these stages are. So we know that our machine learning pipeline has different stages. So this dvc.yaml file will contain information about those stages. So let's check out one of the stage. So let's see a prepare stage. So this means the data preparation involves in this stage. So it has some cmd attribute. Cmd means the command to run that stage. So it has this command python 3 source inside prepare.py, and it has taken command line argument data.xml. It has dependencies and these two files. What these dependencies mean that to execute this command successfully, we need these two files before. So of course we need data file and we need prepare.py file because we are executing that. So these two files are important. Then parameters. So this command will use these parameters, and where these parameters are defined, you have to go and check out in the code. So in prepare.py, you can see that we have a YAML file, params.yaml. Here we have defined some parameters. So for prepare we have defined split and seed. For featureize we have these parameters. For train we have these parameters, and those we have defined in here. And what is outs? After successfully executing this command will generate this file or directory. So either it can be a file or it can be a directory. So this is a stage in dvc.yaml file will look like. You can ignore attribute if it doesn't applicable for your stage. Let's say this stage does not contain any out attributes, so it doesn't produce any file or directory after executing this command. So you don't need to write outs attribute. Similarly, as preparation, we have featureize stage, which will generate features from our prepared data. Then we have training stage and we have evaluation stage. Now to execute the pipeline with just one command, we just need these three things. One is source code for executing the command, one is data which we have. Here we can see we have data.xml file, and we need dvc.yaml file. And after doing this, we just need to run one command, that is dvc reproduce, specifically dvc repro. So when we execute this command, it will run all the stages in our pipeline. First it will run prepare, then featureize, then train, and then evaluate. Also, one more important and essential thing that dvc has, that it has a caching, very strong caching. So you can see that stage prepared didn't change, so skipping it. So what does this mean is that as the git tracks the change in the code, dvc tracks the change in the data. So if the data is not changing, then it won't run it again. So where this will help is, let's say you have some training parameters. So we have number of estimators as 50 right now. So now I want to experiment it on another parameter, that is 100. So what I do is I will put number of estimators 100, and now if I run the dvc reproduce command again, it will only run those stages which are dependent on this parameter. So what I mean by that, just run it again, dvc reproduce, and now you will see that it did not run prepare stage, it did not run featureize stage, it has only run train and evaluate stage. So this is a best part about using dvc. Now let's talk about versioning. So how versioning works? So versioning works, let's say we are in master branch, you can see here in bottom left, and now I want to version my data. So let's say this sample data.txt file is a data that we can see we have already done dvc add on that. That's why it has created sample data.txt.dvc file. So this .dvc file will be uploaded to the GitHub repository, and this data.txt file, sample data.txt file, will be uploaded to remote storage or any cloud storage. So this sample data.txt file has only one sentence, that is this branch is master branch. Now I want to do another experiment and I want to change this data. So how can I do that? So I can do that using just changing a git branch. You can see that I already have a git two branches, one is master and one is v1. So I will change my git branch to v1. So you can see that I am checking out git checkout v1. I have changed my branch. You can see on the bottom left corner that we are now in v1, but still our sample data.txt file has this text, this branch is master branch. So how can I change the data file? Because git does not track the data file, git only tracks the .dvc file and the code files. So we can check out the data file using dvc checkout. So we can do dvc checkout and the name of the data file, that is sample data.txt. When we execute that, you can see that the sentence or the data immediately change. This branch is V1. So like that, you can assume instead of sample data.txt, you can have any arbitrarily large size of data file or model file, and you can version the things as you like. So this is just a demo on that. Also, one more functionality that DVC provides is that we can see the pipeline. So we can see visually the pipeline. So it will show us the acyclic graph of our pipeline. So if you run the command dvc tag, then it will show us all the stages sequentially. So first we have preparation stage, then we have featureize stage, then we have training stage, and then we have evaluation stage. But we can also go directly from featureize to evaluation stage. So it is also showing us that. So this is a very good functionality. So this was about versioning the machine learning pipeline and running it using simple command. Now how can we integrate that using CI/CD pipelines? So DVC provides us a tool called CML. CML stands for continuous machine learning, and it is used to build CI/CD pipelines for machine learning applications. And it provides us with simple YAML files to integrate CI/CD in machine learning pipelines on GitHub and GitLab. So you can see different section here, and the best thing about CML is that you can generate reports based on that. So let's say you have a machine learning project, and on every pull request it should run the whole complete machine learning pipeline, and it should generate a report on that. So what I mean by report is that it should generate the output of that pipeline. So any losses or the nature of loss, confusion metrics, and things like that. So you can do that in here. So you can add this YAML file in your workflow file, add all the commands required to run your pipeline, and at the end you can generate the report, and you can publish that in your pull request page. Also, it has a very flexible MLOps ecosystem that you can use it. I have given the GitHub repository for the demonstrated code in the description box below. Also, I have given the DVC and CML repositories as well as documentation in the description box. You can check out them and you can use them in your next machine learning project. So that's all for today, guys. Please like, share and comment on the video, and subscribe to this YouTube channel if you like the video. I'll be back with another exciting tutorial next weekend. Till then, stay safe.